Today I have one radio show, and then I have to put everything in order in my house, pay everybody for the party. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all about the book launch today. That's what I'm here to talk about, because I just had a book baby, so I'm going to be telling the labor story for a long time. Question, what's the best way to buy it? If you buy it from the link in my bio, which takes you directly to my website, or from other social media channels, YouTube, Instagram, you're getting it directly from me. You're also getting the digital and the audio. If you buy it from TikTok, you're still getting it directly from me. You're just not getting the digital or the audio because they don't let us do that. And if you buy it from Amazon, oh, fine. It's an indie book. All roads lead back to me. But Amazon takes a cut. I have not ever collaborated with Amanda Montell. I'm not sure if I've gotten on her radar, but I also have a critique of her book. So this potentially is, which I guess I will say, Cultish is an amazing book. Cultish is a book that I patterned this book after. She was like, cults use language a certain way. I'm going to show you how cults use it, and then I'm going to show you how everyone else uses it. And I did that for all cult stuff. Language is only one chapter, the longest chapter, but still. It was like, I'm going to show you how cults do these 10 things, and then how the military does it, and then how everyone else does it. The problem with Cultish is that she's not a cult expert. She chose to platform only cult experts who say brainwashing is not real in the brainwashing section. She only talked to cult apologists. I don't know why she made that decision. It seems like it was potentially just out of ignorance, but it's a serious problem with the book. That being said, it's an amazing starter book. It's the best-selling books on cults. It's an amazing starter book. It was amazing when I read it. That part is just not true, and I have to say that every time I recommend it. Amazon does not also offer the audio. No. That is if you buy it directly from me, advantage. Okay, so sat down, started writing the book. I was working with Amy Reed. Okay, so Amy Reed has helped me in all of my books. Amy Reed came on as the second co-writer of Uncultured. She actually came on as the proposal doctor of Uncultured. A book proposal to traditional publishing is exactly the same thing as raising money for your startup. Book companies are venture capitalist firms. And so I understood that because I was running a volunteer organization that was helping veterans pitch their startups. So I was like, oh, this is just the startup for what I'm doing. Pitched it, right? Had a successful book sale, all of that. Although at first we pitched it a bunch and got a bunch of rejections. And so agents suggested we bring in a proposal doctor who's like a author, successful published author who already knows how to do this. And I talked to a bunch of great people. Everybody seemed amazing, but I picked Amy Reed in the best decision of my life because she wrote youth fiction specializing in trauma. And I knew that Uncultured had a lot to do with youth and trauma. Amy has an incredible amount of writing polish that I will never have. I will never, I am an entrepreneur of words and ideas. I will get them out in any way possible. I'm writing a musical, right? I will never have the kind of writing polish that Amy has. My books are page turners because of Amy Reed. I also don't do multi-million-dollar projects by myself. I put together really good teams. One of my strengths is I surround myself with experts and then I listen to those experts. It's one of the reasons I get mad at people when they don't listen to experts. This is how I make good products. And actually, when this book got a good Publishers Weekly review and good Kirkus review, and then the Amazon Editor's Choice flag, I was like, yes, this means my process works. My process for making good books work. And the good thing about that is processes are repeatable. Now, Uncultured is a 5-star book, right? It is critically acclaimed. It is actually fun when people who follow me buy the book, because I think when you follow a creator, you're expecting to get their 3.5 book, not their 5-star book. But Uncultured came out at the wrong time. It didn't hit the market. It still sold very successfully because it's a good book and I know how to sell, but it didn't go viral. Culting of America seems to be going viral. When what I want to say with that is making a good book doesn't mean it's going to be a bestseller and then you never have to do anything again for the rest of your life. In fact, what I learned from Uncultured was finally put to bed the myth of the one silver bullet, right? Beyonce and Taylor Swift still release new stuff every couple years, right? There's not just one thing that happens and then you're rich and famous forever, unless that's what you want, right? Educated went viral. She sold 4 million copies in the first year. She made enough millions that she never has to work again. I've heard she's writing a new book, but you don't necessarily have that. Can happen. But just having a content career where you just are doing it forever, that is work. That is not a magic wand or bullet or anything that happens to you. Someone in the comments says Uncultured is one of the 3 best books read in 2025. Thank you so much. So we worked on Uncultured, we sold Uncultured. Okay, so Amy. So when I got to write Culting of America, I was already working with Amy. But in the meantime of working with me on Uncultured and Un-American, Amy had taken a job as a full-time editor and directing editor at a independent publishing company. So she was no longer free to work on my book as a freelance project. So it was really, really good that my publisher didn't pick me up, because my choice was ultimately going to be to go with this indie publisher or to not have Amy. My absolute rule is Amy gets whatever she wants as long as she keeps writing books with me. So we started with Otterpine. Now, Otterpine is I love it so much. And I think Otterpine is the matriarchy starting. So Otterpine is founded by a Korean American woman Navy logistics officer veteran. And she wanted to use her logistics experience and her connections throughout Asia and now the world to help people publish books she believes in the least capitalist company possible. And the least capitalist company is the part that I really like, because as I was studying organizational psychology, it seemed to me that one of the big problems in the US is that we decided if you're making money, you're a good guy. Business is business and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, and you just don't have to get rich that fast. You can just get rich slowlier and take care of everyone around you. So that's what Saya Wood is doing at Otterpine, and that's what I'm trying to do. And what's really amazing is that Saya, who has more military experience than me, has big sistered me into business and having this giant brand. Of course, my giant brand and my book success is growing her company as well. So it is mutually supportive. But I've been part of so many male-led veteran organizations that say they're doing this rah, 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 Black Rifle full coffee, rah, rah, rah. We're just doing it. We're just helping each other, even though we contractually don't have to, because rising tides. So that's been really, really amazing. Saya's also brilliant. She's brilliant at what makes a good book. And so we've been working on that. I think for the past 2 years, we've been actually paying and producing The Culting of America. There was a year where I was, getting enough of it written so that I knew that I could, which is where I am with the next one, An All-American Fascism now. And in the meantime, I also started successfully reselling copies of Uncultured through social media, which is actually what allowed me to pay for this book on my own. And not only allowed me to pay for it, but gave me a guaranteed audience. Because the thing about book companies being venture capital, any product you launch to the world is a gamble. My gamble was just much, much safer because I was paying for the next book with the proceeds of the first book. And so there was an audience there. It's really fascinating, in entrepreneurship, they talk about your early adopters and your biggest fans. And because I ended up crowdsource writing this book, some of you have been following this process for 3 years since the Group Behavior Gal days. And you've heard every line in this book and many lines that didn't make it into the book. And y'all were still like the first ones to line up to buy it, which is incredible. People are so bought in. And actually, I'm going to read the note to you all. On perspective, privilege, and limits of lived experience. Looking for my phone. It's there. This book explores cults and other high control environments, including the emotional. No, that's the content notice. Sorry. On perspective, privilege, and of lived experience. I am a white woman raised in a global sex cult, trained by the US military and educated at Harvard. These 3 institutions, despite their differences, share an affinity for hierarchy, myth-making, and charismatic control. Each one taught me something about power and the ways people are trained to follow it. The training lives in my body, and it shapes the lens through which I view the world. But as much as I've tried to expand my lens, learn from the stories of others, to challenge the boundaries of what I was taught to see, I know it still has its edges. Reach out at admin@uncultureyourself.com. And if you want, I can maybe make a virtual pop-in to your book club for like 15 or 20 minutes, if the timing works out. And probably if you're not on the West Coast. I write this book as a cult survivor, a researcher, and a woman navigating systems that were never built for our full humanity. But I also write it from a place of whiteness, of access, of being granted the benefit of the doubt in rooms and systems where others are not. Whiteness has been my shield and my sword. It opened doors that should never have been closed to begin with. It softened the edges of my rebellion and made my critiques easier for mainstream America to swallow. It also, for a long time, let me believe I was the exception, that I could walk through these systems and stay intact, that I could win the game without questioning who the game was built for. We also need to state that the field of cult studies itself has been long shaped by white Western academics, people who, consciously or not, framed the definitions and thresholds of extremism through their own cultural lenses. The legacy has skewed which groups are studied, which abuses are taken seriously, and which voices get believed. And we are still reckoning with the reality that many of the tools used to analyze coercion and control were built inside the same institutions that have exercised it. I now know better, and I know that knowing better isn't the same thing as doing better. So while this book examines cults and high control systems with as much rigor, honesty, and lived experience as I can bring, it is not the final word. It can't be. This is not a universal survivor story. It is not an exhaustive account of how cults harm people across lines of race, gender, class, ability, or faith. There are stories I cannot tell and patterns I cannot see, not because they aren't there, but because my perspective is incomplete. My co-writer, Amy Reed, also brings her own set of limitations in perspective, different from mine, but present nonetheless. As a queer woman and the granddaughter of a Filipino immigrant farmer born to a biracial mother on one side and a white, rural, working class lineage on the other, her experience stretches beyond whiteness and heteronormativity in ways mine does not. At the same time, her worldview is shaped by a liberal, middle-class upbringing, femme presentation, and often being read as white. Together, we've done our best to include a broad range of voices, but we recognize that even our most intentional efforts have boundaries. We are deeply grateful to Rebecca Slew, known professionally as White Woman Whisperer. White Woman Whisperer. For her guidance and for lending her voice to close this book with the grace and gravity it calls for in an essay that's being called one of the best parts. Her words offer more than reflection. They serve as a companion, deepening the conversation around whiteness, complicity, and what it might mean to choose another way forward. And while writing this book, we have added another level of perspective, yours. So many of you helped me stress test these ideas as I was developing them, offering your personal stories of the cults you survived and the nuanced systems of behavior control you encountered in families, fandoms, companies, churches, and more. You revealed patterns I never could have seen on my own. This book is stronger, more honest, and more expansive because of you. Thank you. I hope this book offers language and clarity for those seeking to understand their own group experiences. I hope it disrupts some of our most sacred assumptions. But I also hope it invites you to seek out the voices this book cannot contain, to learn from Black, Indigenous, disabled, queer, and global survivors whose insights stretch far beyond my own. Because if we are going to dismantle the systems that control and divide us, we need all of us. And we need to start by listening. Daniela. Had a question from TikTok. Someone was saying what order to read the books in. So the books stand alone, as good books should do. However, I would recommend reading Uncultured first, simply because I have progressed since then. Uncultured, as hard as I tried, is a little bit white feministy, because I was a lot white feministy. I was 33. It is a snapshot of where I was at that time. And now I am more evolved. So I feel like if you read this book and then you go back to that book, it might be a little, it's a story, it's different. But just know that I too have evolved since then. And that is the issue with books. Uncultured was published in 2022. And Culting of America was published 2 days ago. We just read Howard Zinn's Real People's History of America, and we just did the graphic novel in book club for 3 months. And now we're going to start Culting of America in book club for 3 months. If you're interested in joining book club, which was Cult Survivor Support Group, now is a lot of just America Surviving Right Now support group and conversation. It's been very interesting. You can join my book club by a $10 subscription on Patreon. We meet twice a month. The second Wednesday, we discuss a memoir, and the third Wednesday, we discuss a theory book. And we are going to be working on Forager by Michelle Dowd for February and Culting of America by Daniela Mestenak-Young for the next quarter. I also think I'm going to make a college class. And when I make that college class, I'm also going to teach it on the internet. Okay, so. Okay, love you. So we've been working on this book for 3 years. It went faster than a traditional publisher because they did the production in only 6 months. Traditional publishers do about a year. When I turned in Uncultured, it came out a year from when I finalized the text, which is great. A year's a long time to wait from when you finish writing to when the book comes out. Like, you learn so much more and things change. So much more happy. I'm so much happier with 6 months. Folks have asked if there's going to be a paperback. We hope. If the hard copy sells out very quickly, we'll probably do another hard copy run. If it sells out over 6 months to a year, we will then launch the paperback whenever the hard copy sells. The paperback is available on Amazon outside of the United States for reasons. Okay. Also, there is an audiobook. There is a digital. I did the audiobook recording. And there's also a really fun product that is kind of like one of our surprise sellers, which is we did a workbook called uncultureyourself.com. And I actually think it's the only thing like it out there, which is a workbook for reclaiming your mind. So this is my cult tactics book. This is how they do it. And one of the things they do is break your identity, give you a pseudo personality, and give you a worldview or ideology that you must adopt in order to be part of the group. This helps you deconstruct that. You can use it to deconstruct any ideology or identity. I'm using it to deconstruct Swiftianity and, well, turns out whiteness. And so you can follow along my videos with that. We do have a package where you can get both of them together. And you can also get this independently. We do not have this available as a PDF or an audio. I think I want to make some kind of video version of it where somebody is walking you through it. But all products cost money and time to launch. So you got to focus on these ones first. Another part of the matriarchy is the knitting needles. Where are the sword knitting needles? All right, hang on. I must find them. I must find some. All right, so I just cannot express enough that if I had said to a traditional publisher that I want a custom pair, first of all, that I'm going to brand myself as Knitting Cult Lady, and I want a custom pair of sword knitting needles to launch with my very serious research book, it wouldn't have even been a conversation. But when I said it to my indie publisher, who's a woman veteran who knits, she was like, what size? What should they be made out of? Should they be circular? They probably have to be metal because they're swords. And here they are. My child dreamed them up. We have sold over 200 knitting bundles. Y'all, you don't have to follow the white dude's rules anymore. You just don't. None of them predicted that the knitting and talking about cults and bad guys industry was going to be so big. In entrepreneurship, this is called blue ocean strategy, where you make up your own market and therefore you're at the top of it and nobody has touched it before. In fact, I cannot tell you how many straight white men in business told me I would never be successful building a brand, only talking about the bad guys. Ha, 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 ha. Do what you want, friends. Do what you want. All right, so those are products we launched. We were not originally going to do even a hard copy because it costs a lot of money. And it's an indie book. But as 2/3 of the way into writing the book, the cult got the White House. And the president of the United States started writing copy for me. Recently, he called NATO a cult and wants to put nukes on the moon because #space travel. Haven't even had time to deal with that yet. So it became obvious that it was going to be much more relevant and was potentially going to hit at exactly the right time. So we decided to do a hard copy and make it look like a really big traditional book launch. Because everything the big guys can do, other people can help you do too. And the secret is the gatekeepers are not holding the gates anymore. Traditional publishing does not know how to sell books in today's market because the reality is you're going to have to get on the internet and influence your own book every single day, no matter what you wrote about, if you want it to be successful. So do it yourself. Yes, we were able to discuss some of Trump's second term in the book. It's very interesting writing stuff as stuff is still happening. It's difficult. I'm glad I had a lot of help for that. So, all right. So we started pre-sales 5 months before it came out. Did that while I was on my summer tour of Canada and parts of the United States. And we have been selling books ever since through social media. There's always luck in every process. And some of my, no, sir. You want to come up here? Some of my luck was finding Amy. And one really big piece of luck was my publisher, Saya, was hiring a marketer for another project, Leslie Rossman, and was showing her the catalog of Otterpine. And she saw Culting of America by Daniela Messina-Young. And she said, oh, I did her first book. I advertised her first book. And she sure enough did. And I was like, hiring you right now in what I think is going to turn out to be the best money I've spent in this whole process. So she is putting together for me the same kind of NPR, radio tour, national podcast, outreach. All of that started about 2 weeks ago and has been going well. We are not doing the kind of sales plan that is likely to end us on the New York Times, but could still happen. However, it has been fun to watch the Amazon rankings. First of all, they gave us a editor's pick, and it was an editor's pick for best history books, which was not something I had considered, even though it is a history book in so many different ways. Of course, we're the bestseller in cults right now. Uncultured is also going back up on the bestseller list, which is great. And today it was medical psychology and influence and popular psychology and influence that we were topping the list of. So, it's fun to watch. Which brings us to the book launch. I did not do my book launch in a bookstore because I've decided I'm not really going to bother with trying to convince bookstores that my indie book is a big deal. I'm just going to throw parties where I want. So, Lizzie, send you the screenshots of what? Oh, yes, I will. All the firsts. So I threw the party at a restaurant in my neighborhood, and we had about 150 people come out. We had the whole restaurant, which is cool. I've never had that before. Small business, not chain restaurant, brewery that makes its own beer. So small business. We got wonderful cakes made, a cake of the book cover, reproduced, not printed, and a gluten-free carrot cake. And we found out that Lizzie does not enjoy cutting cake. Debbie, Marjorie Joy came. It was so nice to meet you. I hope you got back safe, and I hope you're preparing for the snowstorm. I hear it's going to hit Nashville pretty hard. Today I'm paying all the vendors. We're going to download photos. We're going to share them. I honestly have not even looked at them myself. We did the party. Yesterday we did a studio day working on Have a Day. Then I came home for an hour-long interview, and then an hour and a half long book club. I've only hugged my own child about 4 times in the last 2 days. So we are going to get the photos out. Yes. Okay, so we had a bunch of people show up. People traveled in from Montana, from Utah, from Toronto, from Nashville, from Philly, from New Jersey. I am in DC, College Park, Maryland, actually. So those were very, very cool. I thought I was hiring a general security guard, but I hired an executive protection agent, which is a bodyguard. From Louisiana too. She was wonderful. Tamala was wonderful. Also really funny story about suspending your thinking. All right. So as we were getting ready for the party, right? Everyone was wearing costumes, right? I was in this whole space outfit dress that I had to be zipped into by somebody else. And Saya, my publisher, was wearing a jumpsuit that she needed help getting in and out of. And so we were joking like, oh, this really is like a wedding. We're going to need to help each other go to the restroom. And part of this whole party, not just the bodyguard, but my whole team, was to kind of make it so that I didn't have to think about anything except talking to 150 people who all wanted to talk to me, plus not running the panel, Lizzie ran the panel, but doing the panel, talking about everyone, this kind of whole spiel, doing the reading, all of that. So I had Tamala, who's amazing, right? Saya and Amy running sales, Lizzie basically managing the entire event because she's amazing. Megan, my assistant, she's working so hard. And I was doing the thing. So I went to the bathroom 3 times in the evening. I had Tamala zip my dress down each time. And then I walked into the bathroom, pulled up my dress, and used the bathroom. And it wasn't until the final time that I was like, wait, what? This is a dress. It didn't need to be unzipped the whole time. That's how cults work. The whole idea of a cult is to get you to just suspend your own personal needs and interests and thinking and kind of be like this little meat puppet and then work really, really hard. And, we did go about 7 hours without me having time to take a bite of food. I had time to drink wine, though. Don't worry. We had so much fun. It was like every part of my life turned out. Oh, best friend flew in from Seattle. That's another one I forgot to mention. Had like my whole neighborhood here. I had my chiropractor was here. We had women veterans. We had cult survivors of every kind. I got to meet Zari, who grew up in Nation of Islam. She wants to come tell her story on the podcast. I'm really interested to see if she wants to write a book and how I might help her with that. I don't know about Denver. There were people that came that I didn't even get to meet or say hi to. I got a very nice email from one of my neighbors about how proud she was of me. And I was like, I didn't even say hi. I didn't even see her. It was very cool. Everyone, like my publisher and my co-writer, said it was the best book launch they'd ever seen, which was really, really great. So that's kind of the story. That's what we did. Ooh, maybe we'll sing now. I have new. We may have a day longer. I think we're making it better. We shall see. Let's go get our guitar style. Come on. Someone asked me what I think about Blake and Taylor, and the answer is I don't know yet, because I haven't followed any of the drama of that movie or the case. Seen some creators talking about how the messages show how narcissistic she is and always has been. From what I read, I don't get it, but I believe them. I just haven't had the time to form an opinion on it yet. Yeah, they do both seem like mean girls, so. Oh, but getting to wear a kimono for son's wedding in Japan sounds so fun. Okay, so let's see. Think about the new song. Why you gotta be so mean? I know. It's disappointing. I was writing about the transcendent mission today in my deconstruction of Swiftianity, and it was like, Swifties are not really a group, but we definitely had a mission, and maybe that's why people from the outside are like, oh, that's a cult. And the mission was absolutely get our girl to the top, and then she was going to use her platform and her privilege to speak truth to power and to try to take down the man. And the whole thing about cults and the transcendent mission is you're not supposed to get there, right? But she got there with the Eras Tour, named Time Person of the Year. She was the most famous person in the world. She was absolutely on top of the world, craziest tour of all times. And then she basically came back and said, fuck you, bitches, leave me alone. Enjoy tyranny, you pores. So, much like when Donald Trump came out and said, yeah, we're not releasing the Epstein list, she just kind of trashed the mission. And that's why she lost 1 million of us. And that's the racism aside. Sorry, she lost 1 million of us in one day. She's lost more than 1 million of us. And yes, I write about Taylor Swift in the book. And then I have a huge footnote in the book because, well, her album dropped right as the book was going to press. No, he's already given up Greenland. The military said no. Republicans told him they would impeach him, and now he's like, fine, I guess we're not going to go to Greenland. Because he never was. It's also the reason the 101st is not in Minneapolis, because he doesn't know how to use the military. He wants to. He would love to just bludgeon the United States with the military. Turns out someone said the military is not a cult that answers to the president. I wonder who that was. Oh, it was me. Because I do know how to use the military. Because I have more military experience than the Secretary of Defense. And by the way, this is what happens when your Secretary of Defense has less experience than an average Army captain. I was a baby captain. I got out early in my captaincy. Yeah, putting out Opalitis, the next single, is definitely tone deaf. My nanny called me today. She was like, Mommy, what is the fate of Ophelia? And I told her, and I was like, yeah, Taylor doesn't understand. Like, she should have read Hamlet before writing a song about Ophelia. Just things you don't think you should need to say. He is trying to find a new mission, and it's not working. And that is because your transcendent mission has to be obviously good. That's why it's often some form of do it for the children, right? We're going to go drain the swamp and pull children out of sex cages. Stephen Miller's trying really hard to make the mission make America white again. But that's not an obviously good mission that people can, brainwash themselves to be on board with. So I think Donald Trump and Stephen Miller need to read Culting of America. I hope they don't, but I explained how to do it. The marriage pause surprised me. Not at all. All right. So we got Have a Day. Y'all, we spent a whole day working on the musical yesterday, and I'm actually writing it. It's got a lot going on right now. However, no, but I did hear that someone was trying to get the book from Barnes and Nobles, and they were like sold out in their tri-state area. And I'm like, yeah, that's because it's an indie book, and they didn't think they needed to order very many. Yeah, you don't need to announce pausing wedding planning if you don't make it that big of a deal in the first. I was very surprised when she came out and was like going to make her wedding such a public thing. I'm like, even the world according to Taylor Swift, where so many people hate her and want her to fail. Why would you do that? Okay, so we realized that I'm fine, except that I'm totally not. It's like everybody's favorite line. Have a Day is like a super anchor song for the musical, so we're going to be putting that in several places. But I'm fine can't just come in as the outro. So now we have it as the intro to every chorus, but changed up a little bit. Let's see how it goes. So it's like, wake up at 4, shower in 10. Sorry, it doesn't start like that. It starts like this. When you can't say how you feel, so you say, hooah, and keep marching. Have a day, have a day. Ba-da, 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 have a day. Wake up at 4, shower in 10. Shine your boots and brief your men. Double time smile, triple check form. Man, you're in charge of this whole damn swarm. Salute to the major and the sergeant too. Hold in your pee, pretend you're not blue. Carry your binder, carry their grief. They say you're a leader, but who gives you relief? Man, your hair is wrong. Your voice ain't loud. Your skirt's too long. Be firm, be soft, be calm, be fire. Be a leader the men can admire. my cords for I'm fine. Okay, they're the same. Okay, remember, be a leader the men can admire. I'm fine, and I'm looking totally hot. I run faster, I jump higher, and my nerves aren't totally shot. I'm screaming, I'm needing, I'm performing hard. So, have a day, hooray, just run faster anyway. Have a day, stand up straight, the system loves you and you don't break. I say have a day, cause I can't say help. I smile in the mirror like a regulation elf. I salute with both hands, I nod and I grin, and they never notice the panic within. They hand me the mission, they hand me the blame. They tell me to fix it, but it's always the same. I cover my fear with a bright poker face. A lieutenant's job is to vanish in grace. Ma'am, stand tall, don't slip. Tighten your jaw, bite back your lip. Don't shake, don't show, don't hesitate. Smile wider, man. The system's great. I'm fine, but this system's totally fucked. Lieutenant, push harder, and don't forget to duck. That's so the helicopter blades don't take your head off. I'm shaking, I'm showing, but I'm running at the wall. So, have a day, drink that Kool-Aid, fake it louder anyway. Have a day, stand up straight, the system loves you and you don't break. And then we're changing the bridge, and I think it's gonna go. If silence is strength, then why do I shake? Into how many pieces can one soldier break? But that's going to happen at the same time, and then it's going to be like, I can't breathe, but I must obey. A smile's the armor they can't take away. Have a day, get out the way. I'm the one that you can't take. Have a day, stand up straight. The system loves you and you don't break. You're fine, LT, you're fine. She's got that army shine. She's smiling, she's thriving. Definitely she's not crying. I'm fine, except that I'm totally not. I'm crumbling to pieces beneath every goddamn thought. I'm bleeding, I'm playing the part. The Cult Baby motto is, I can do it with a broken heart. There we go. Yes, Lisa, we're canceling Saturday. Sorry, made a very early morning weather call. And I just had to call it because I couldn't find a way to plan to just be stranded in New York City. That made sense in my life. And planning to travel on Sunday is a very bad plan right now. So we are canceling. We are not canceling. We are postponing. We are hopefully going to move it to like right before the Knitting in March. So yeah, it's better to be safe. We learned this. My husband and I almost intentionally got ourselves stranded in Brazil during COVID. And then we were like, it's probably not a good idea to get yourself intentionally stranded in an emergency in a place that you're not from. And that turned out to be the correct decision. So there's a very, very big snowstorm coming, hitting a lot of the country. Make sure you have water. Make sure you have bread. I don't still run very often. I'm not just like trying to recover healing my body, but I'm also trying to build a good relationship with exercise where I'm exercising for me and not to like punish my body. I don't actually even know if I liked running. Uh, Knitting Cult Baby competes once a year in a run at her school, and she has finally realized that she needs to start training a little bit. So we are doing that. New York uses their garbage trucks to plow. That's interesting. I mean, we're going on the train too, which was like the safest way to travel in a storm, but it just, there's too many parts. I have too many things coming up. There's the Republican dog, you know. You don't want to leave like your house alone in a snowstorm necessarily. So Mr. Knitting Cult Lady wasn't be able to come. And like, it was too much. Curious, are women in the military supportive of each other? I think women in the military are supportive of each other. It's everyone that pits us against each other. I think being a woman officer is the loneliest job in the world. And I would literally, every time a new woman officer would come to the unit, the male officers would come in, they would be like, have you met your new competition yet? And I would be like, you mean my new best friend since there's 4 of us? Yeah. And what I will say is I have not heard from one single woman veteran who read Uncultured and was like, no, you didn't nail the culture for us. My necklace is from a woman veteran. It was just a gift. This was the gift that made me realize that like there was a hole in my heart that unexpected gifts was healing. One of the things of our personal Children of God trauma was we didn't get presents ever, because that would take away the reason was because it's Jesus's birthday, and that would take away the focus on Jesus. You also couldn't get presents on your own birthday because that would take away the focus from Jesus. But also, if we had gotten presents, like we, the children, were the money source. So we would have had to go out and beg for the presents ourselves. Just like on my 12th birthday, I was begging outside the market in Belo Horizonte for money to go buy my own birthday present. It was great to go back there and drop hundreds of dollars on jewelry as an adult. So I love thrift stores because the joy of like finding something you didn't know existed and now it's just yours is wonderful. And one of the things about being an author is like you keep a PO box so that people can send you stuff. And at first it was funny because I was paying more every year for the PO box than people were sending me stuff. But it was like it's not about that this was an expensive necklace. It was beautiful. It was thoughtful, right? These amethysts come from the part of Brazil where I grew up, where my heart is. It was so thoughtful. It was so lovely. And it was just like the unrequited gift, the joy of that. Like I hate gift exchange culture. I hate it. I love giving gifts to children and I love giving unexpected gifts to people. And my favorite thing to do with money is give it away. I love tipping. Literally, when I got my first book deal, I went out, I got a martini and I tipped the waitress $50. That was what I wanted to do to celebrate. So it's been really cool. I might have to stop receiving gifts soon because my house is very full now. Appreciate y'all so much. It has been truly healing and like not a thing I would have thought of. I am going to come to LA. We do a mommy daughter trip for spring break every year. And we are going to go to LA and I'm going to do a Hollywood event. So stay tuned. And then watching me open stuff is fun for people. And so it's been this whole thing, just finding the joy, playing dress up every day is fun for me. I threw myself, for my 36th birthday, I threw myself a princess party. And like, it was wedding quality. We threw ourselves a wedding with no men except for the man in a suit who poured us our enchanted wine tasting. And it was so glorious. And I still realize that like between both of my weddings and my princess party, I'd only spent 3 days of my life dressing up. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to fix that. And now we do. The other day, Knitting Cult Baby comes down the stairs in the morning and she just goes, Dad, I don't think mom's taking the dog out. She's wearing a ball gown. I did take the dog out. You can take dogs out in ball gowns, turns out. All right. Where's my pick? There it is. Is it a call? Is it a... That's not the right chord. Is it a call? Is it a call? Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Again, but louder. Like your mother finally let you question authority. Is it a call? Is it a call? Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Alcoholics Anonymous, call it what you want to, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Jehovah's Witnesses, Norway says you're a shining cult, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Military wrote 2 books about that air assault, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. I can remember to sing the song the same way twice, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. But don't worry, I'll be just like that Mormon guy. What you want to, call it what you want to. It'll be the same gist, just in slightly different words. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And don't even think about saying, hey, that's so absurd. Call it what you want to, what you want to. Salvation Army, not just red buckets and Noel. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Super homophobic and they answer to a general. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Homeschoolers, Jesus and secular, y'all. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. We'll be here for your grown kids when they don't want you to call. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. MLMs are commercial cults. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Mary Kate and Avon, it doesn't work at all. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Mormons believe the FLDS are worse than them. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And nothing is good if it's only liked by men. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Yellow. Nope. Tesla and SpaceX, don't you call it what you want to, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. State of Texas, call it what you want to, call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Catholics, don't you know that evangelicals hate you, like really, really hate you. They don't think you're Christians. Bezos and Musk sending penis rockets to the moon. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Yellow Deli, it's a child labor cult. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Oh my God, stop fucking eating their sandwiches, y'all. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. 2x2s is a cult that had a schism. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And a brainwashing tactic called the buddy system. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. La luz del mundo, llámala como quieras. Call it what you want to, what you want to. Y testemunho de Jehová, Brasil é uma seita. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Eugenics, vegan, death cult, Seventh-day Adventist. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And cults hate the doctor and the dentist. What you want to, call it what you want to. P. Diddy and R. Kelly, those were sex cults, y'all. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And how about the Epstein list, that thing that's making MAGA fall? Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Scientology, I'm sure you want to sue me. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. But you had to stop suing people because they get discovery. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. New agey ladies, whoops, you're gonna comfort me. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. But Teal Swan wants you to work in Costa Rica for free. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. I know we did the military, now just the Marines. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. J.K. Rowling, why you gotta be so mean? Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Burning Man, I wanna get high too. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And Uncle Sam, I don't wanna die for you. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Old Fox fake news, I can't even listen to you. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Stop brainwashing soldiers on the 80s news. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Agents of imperialism called missionaries. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. And all that sun sign stuff, Gemini and Aries. Call it what you want to, call it what you want to. Gemini knitting cult lady, call her what you want to. Call her what you want to, call her what you want to. And finally Shen Yun, call it what you want. I didn't forget the Navy and the Air Force. I said military, wrote 2 books about that air assault. It's just that you have to give the Marines a special call out. And it's always fun. I said this on an interview the other day. They're like, how do people react to your book? Do you call them the Army a cult? I'm like, civilians act very strongly. Veterans are like, yeah, we all knew that. And civilians will take an issue with me shit-talking the Marines because they'll be like, oh, but you're not a Marine. And I'm like, sir, if I don't make a special call out for the Marines being the cultiest, they will interrupt me to tell me that they're the cultiest. So the question here is, was racism tolerated in the Children of God? And that's a very interesting question because the Children of God was extremely racist. The founder is from a family that was Jews for Jesus, right? Which was already a whole thing that became super anti-Semitic in itself. But then when things got bad in America, he tried to move his cult to Israel. Israel's great at rejecting cult leaders since the days of Jesus. So they were like, no. So then he became super anti-Semitic. And then we spread all over the world. However, he spread all over the world and he started using women for religious prostitution. So then we started having a lot of babies that were not white. And these were called Jesus babies. And we were also told that when we were living in other countries, we need to learn the language. We need to become one with the people. So while the Children of God leadership was extraordinarily racist, they kind of did it wrong with the second generation, right? My friends growing up my best friends were not white. So obviously there's a lot more to that. Like there was a time in my life that I thought that I had skipped racism, right? That racism had skipped me. I didn't grow up here. It didn't affect me. Obviously that's not true. And what I especially realized is that white supremacy is radicalizing every single white person the second they set foot in America. Most of y'all were just born here. I was able to see some of it, at least in looking back. And obviously there's nowhere in the world that you go that you're going to be free of white supremacy and white privilege because it has controlled everything for the last 400 years, just like patriarchy for millennia. So that's the story of Children of God and racism. But yes, like everything, part of why I'm writing the book Un-American is because like most of y'all weren't taught that Black people were the cursed sons of Ham, which is an 18th century doctrine to justify slavery, but we were. But most of you were still, I earned my airborne combat badge by deploying with the 101st Airborne twice. Now I want to play Inner Child by Peach PRC. I've been told I cannot use it in my musical and I have to write my own song, and it's called You're in Charge Now. But I still want to play this one because that's what's going to give me this is the song I need to write, basically. Yes, Cursed Sons of Ham. If you look up Cursed Sons of Ham theory, you'll probably find it. It's very disgusting. Yeah, I often say that Uncultured is my book about, so 101st is the Band of Brothers unit. So Uncultured is about being a sister in the Band of Brothers. Wasn't great. The Sons of Ham. No, I don't. It might be briefly mentioned in Uncultured, but that's more like the topic of Un-American. Ham being son of Noah. So not cursed sons of like Ham, the presunto. I said it in Portuguese, like you know, Ham is in Portuguese. You might, but that was just funny. Everything for the knit-in is going to be fixed soon. We had too many signups, so we paused the signups because we still need to figure out a location. The Discord link is not working right now. I'm going to get that fixed today. The Granny Squares, I thought we all thought we were going to put it out last week, but it was MLK Day, so I think we'll be putting it out soon. Let's see. Has someone written the chords down? All right. Oh, I don't know what most of these are. What's B? How do we do B? Someone kiss my closing eyelids, and I made it mean more than it did. And someone put a plate down a little too loud. Now I still flinch whenever I hear the sound, 'cause I'm getting older. I learned my mama was just trying her best, and not that I owe her forgiveness. But I'm sorry to that girl in a dress. So if you wanna wear pink, I'll wear it for you. And if you wanna dance, then I'll strap up my shoes. I can't play F. And if you wanna sing, then consider it sung. I'm sorry that you had to grow up this young. Forget that love is earned, 'cause it's always deserved. I know you had to work just to show them your worth. Remember that a plate is nothing but a plate. And even if it breaks, we can throw it away. As I'm getting older, I learned that I was only trying my best, and I think I owe her a deep breath. She was the strongest little girl in a dress. So if you wanna wear pink, I'll wear it for you. And if you wanna dance, then I'll strap up my shoes. And if you wanna sing, then consider it sung. I'm sorry that you had to grow up this young. You were the strongest little fighter that carried me here. And I know that you're tired from surviving in fear. So lay down, close your eyes, 'cause now I got us for the rest of our life. So if I want to wear pink, I'll wear it for me. And if I want to dance, then I'll lift up my feet. And I just want to sing at the top of my lungs. Thanks for being there, growing up so young. I think first of all, the line, I learned my mama was just trying her best. And just like my mom was 14 when she was pregnant with me. But I also think that so many of us recovering and deconstructing, it's like our parents were caught in the thing too. And then, damn it. No, stop it. Go back. I was doing something. The plate thing, people who've been in abusive relationships really understand that. Plate is just a plate. And I want to just like break a plate every time I sing that. And then I'm sorry that you had to grow up this young. Thanks for being there growing up that young. Like that's such a good line, especially because my last name is Young. But I was explaining this, what I liked about it to the musical director and Lizzie. And I was like, like you're in charge now. Like it's not fair that happened to you. It's bullshit, but we're in charge now. And they were like, that's the name of the song. So look, they're little planets. They're little tiny Saturnitas. So anyway, I think we're writing like 12 songs for the musical now. Yeah, I mean, the thing I said about my mom in Uncultured was like she tried to teach us the lessons she'd been taught in a kinder way than they'd been taught to her. But she still only had what she knew. First Cut is the Deepest. That's a good song too. Yeah, and I came up with this term for a lot of us first generation parents that don't have examples that we would like to emulate, and we have to figure it out on our own with our child. I think one of the biggest things that millennials are doing for ending generational trauma is just apologizing to their kids. I tell my kid all the time, I'm like, I don't have to be a mom. I don't know how to be a mom. This is the first time I'm doing it. We're all trying. Oh, I'm sorry. But not really. Oh, and look how my daughter just opened the fridge. I have to tell that story and then I have to go. So my daughter was like a year and a half old. And so first of all, in Uncultured, I write about the first time I opened a fridge. I was 11 years old and they had put me in the kitchen to be the kitchen slave, essentially. And I was just like, I've never had the authority to open a fridge before. And so my kid, she's 1.5 years old. I'm sitting on the couch and she just waddles over to the kitchen and like opens up the fridge and just starts eating grapes. And I was like, and it was so great because it's like she has this sense of ownership. This is her home. This is her space. Like she's comfortable here. She doesn't have to ask permission to get food. She just doesn't have to be invited. Anyway, she's great. She puts me in my place all the time. She literally introduces me as the crazy lady or the crazy yarn lady to her friends, which is so fun. I don't even have any more songs to play, so I guess I'm gonna go. Show you this thing I'm making. So I took this jacket and I cut off the sleeves and I made Lizzie a pair of gloves and then I made matching earrings from the shoulders. And now I'm putting super long haired maroon. There's like some maroon piping down here, so it looks really cute. All right, gonna go get ready for my next interview. We're not doing a situation report this week because we put a book out. Apologize to book club. Right last night, I did not do the reading, and I'm the teacher. But I was like, I promise, I will. This will only happen on weeks when I publish a book. Thank you so much. Also, if you request it from your library, they might buy it. So that's another option. And thanks once again to all of you for being so supportive of the whole process of this book. And I know everyone wanted it out like as soon as I started writing it, and it takes a long time to make good books. I am so incredibly proud of it. Here she is once again. Thanks to all of you that sent gifts. I had like 7 gifts to open on the day of the book party because that's when we checked the mail. And it was like, I got a little book baby shower thrown. So that was incredible. And I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for being here. Have a day.